I always do the same thing. Film a whole video and then turn it off because I feel like, oh, I'm talking shit. So we're gonna redo this. This time I'm not gonna talk shit, and I'm just gonna keep it very basic for you guys. The bike simulator, I was able to try it. I was able to install the actuator at the back. I was able to make my own coupler, and I was able to test it with that 100-pound gas strut that helps it go from one side to the other. And the verdict is in. The verdict is in. It is gonna cause problems in the long run if I use a gas strut like that. So what I need to do is actually run it with 2 motors, which, you know, I kind of figured I would have to use 2 actuators, but I was really hoping I'd get away with 1, which again, it's fine. It lifts my weight, it does all that. It's just that I know that over time, I'm going to end up with an issue where that gas strut is just going to break something. Here's the problem. When the motor's at rest, that gas strut is fully extended, which means there's no weight on it. So when the motor comes back, the shaft is bending a little bit like this. Oh, and then it goes in, which is bad. That is flexed. We don't want flex in that fucking thing. It has to be sturdy as shit, no flex. Here's another thing I noticed too. The bike itself has flex on the actual bracket. Because here, you gotta remember how a bike actually works, right? The center bracket isn't meant to hold the whole fucking weight and you. It just holds the motor. What holds you is the tires and the suspension. But because I don't have any of that right now, everything is held by the metal, like the frame itself, as opposed to being the suspension and the frame. Just the weight isn't proportional the way a bike would be, which means that when you're actually hanging off of one side, the actual bike frame wants to bring you on the side. So the way to solve that is to actually push that T-bracket even more inside, and that's going to keep tension on the rear of the bike. And after that, I'm probably going to have to weld the bracket. I mean, and there's other things I got to do. But either way, I have something else I noticed other than the gas strut flex is the actual bike flex from being held up by the frame. So I kind of have to figure out an alternative to that. Yeah. I mean, I do have the whole bolt. That's the actual bolt that holds the rear swing arm for the bike. So I think I'm gonna put it all the way in, and that way I'm gonna be able to have more structural integrity like that if I slam it in and tie it. But either way, I gotta make another actuator basically. But even the actuator I have right now is one from my big car simulator. I'm gonna pull that one off. Because again, here, I can just use it for traction loss on this guy. And that way, that extra motor can go there. And I can put 2 motors on the actual bike with these. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to make them 500 millimeter length actuator for each side. And that should solve the problem of, you know, from one side to another. Basically what's going to end up is it'll go like this, right? If you're thinking you've got 2 motors, right, and you're able to move from one side to another like that. But when one motor's all the way in, that one can be extended like this. Either way, that's how we're going to do it. And it's the other thing too, I noticed is that if I really wanted to be proportional, I would have to actually make the bike go side to side from the center, not from the rear, because right now I'm pushing from the rear. And again, that's where the problem comes in. The weight isn't proportional. The things aren't tied together properly, which means that again, the weight doesn't go along the frame, which I want, which causes other issues. So again, there's a bunch of stuff to fix on the bike simulator. That's okay. I mean, considering the car sim took me a year and 3 months to actually build and complete, like fully, right? And this I built in like 12 days. Right, I still got lots of time. I'm trying not to feel any rush to like go and just crazy, because otherwise that's all I'm gonna do. I'm trying to just change my routine a little bit. But we do have to design new motor mounts, because the current motor, well, the current actuator, the full setup, is actually set up on a 100 by 100 millimeter extrusion. But if I want to make them 500 mil length, I need to use the new ones I got. Except here's the thing, the pattern here is actually 80 millimeter by 80 millimeter. So my current motor mounts don't fit. Also because the center bolts aren't 50 by 50, they're actually 40 by 40. So I gotta redesign the plate so that I can actually put it on, and then everything can go in. Now that being said, I want to basically have you guys with me design the thing. I'm just gonna make a session on my Fusion 360, and I'm gonna use OBS, and you guys can basically follow along as I modify my current design to fit the new plate and kind of what my workflow is like. Again, I'm not an expert in any of that shit. I just kind of go along. Like I make it as I go, so you'll see that. But you'll see my whole process from designing to slicing to after that sending it to a 3D printer. But that's going to be the next video. Basically this video, it was just an update on how things are going. But the next video will be the design of the actual plate, which I will do today. But I figured, again, another update would be good for you guys. Not that it's very interesting because there's not much happening, but the other thing too is that I can't play right now because I don't have a PC anymore. I brought my PC tower upstairs. The reality is it's just not powerful enough to run everything at once. I wanted to run something powerful. I've never built a PC before, so I decided that might as well build a PC. My store around the house changed the whole like floor and had what item they hold and all that, and I was able to get myself all my parts right there walking in. So, and it cost me approximately the same amount of money for all the parts than it cost me to buy the pre-built last year. So, but this time we have way more RAM, we have way better parts. I'll show you once it's done. I just have to hook the graphics card left, install Windows, and then we should be good. But again, the next video, we'll just design this shit together, which should be posted later today. And other than that, I know it was a long video and not that interesting, but I just figured I would let you know what is happening and where the sim is. So until I get those two actuators built, there's not going to be much happening on that. So, but I will see you in the next video where we will make those 3D parts. And other than that, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next time, see ya.